Hi, my name is Nicole Bansal. I am a real estate investor, and I also own a vacation rental property management company, or an Airbnb co-hosting business, as some people call it. I own a few properties here in California where I live, and then also one all the way in Savannah, Georgia, which I manage out of state. And then my co-hosting business primarily manages properties here in Southern California. When I had my son a couple of years ago, during my maternity leave, babies do a lot of nursing and sleeping, and everyone says sleep when the baby's sleeping, but that's not always the easiest thing to do. So I was listening to a lot of podcasts. There's only so much Netflix, and I started falling down the bigger pockets real estate rabbit hole. Started learning about how people are investing in real estate as a side hustle and making it their main hustle. Additionally, that year, I thought having a kid, I would start qualifying for child tax credits and some benefits, but me and my husband actually didn't qualify for anything. We ended up actually paying a lot more in taxes that year, even though we had already paid through our general wages. So I decided I would start investing in real estate at that point as something to help us get financially free sooner, so that I could spend more time with my son as he gets older. As my maternity leave deadline was coming up on me and I could feel that kind of deadline getting shorter and shorter, I realized I didn't necessarily want to have a full-time job until I'm 65 years old and miss all that time with him. And so I started investing in Airbnbs, and I realized I enjoyed it so much and I was so good at it that I should manage them for other people. So I started a business actually managing them for others as well. During the pandemic in 2020, we had moved from San Francisco down to San Diego, and I hadn't even changed my homeowner's insurance to landlord insurance. Like, we'd rented that home out and I still had the regular old homeowner's insurance policy, which would not have covered me for diddly squat at the time. So I actually did not know about Steadily or really about landlord insurance at all at the time. And as I kind of went down, like listening to these podcasts and doing a lot of self-directed learning, doing some reading, I realized I needed proper landlord insurance, especially if I was going to do short-term rental and Airbnbs. I'd actually heard Steadily's ads on the podcasts I'm interested in a few times. So I started digging into Steadily, and honestly, the whole experience, like, Steadily made it so easy for me. I think I have to say, like, as a millennial, I want to be able to just fill out a form really quickly and then have someone send me the information, and Steadily made that whole experience so flawlessly easy that I was like, from there I was hooked. Like, every new property I get, I just reach out to Steadily. I went through with old school insurance providers. One was when you would go online to fill out the form or get a quote, they would ask you like all these questions about the property. Like, listen, I invest in real estate, I buy it, I generally know what I'm buying, but I don't necessarily know like what's in the walls or what kind of roof it was or when it was last redone. And like, I think they get so specific with the questions they're asking you to even get a quote. That was one thing I loved about Steadily, was that I could fill out a very simple form and then they would kind of try to work on getting all that information for me and really make the experience like frictionless and really user friendly. The other piece I liked about it was that it felt like I was talking to one company instead of a brokerage with a bunch of different reps. Like, if I filled out an online form, I got a call from someone random who was kind of associated with the insurance company, but kind of wasn't. It didn't feel like maybe the arm was talking to the hand. And then probably my favorite thing about Steadily is, again, it feels like such a more modern company, in the sense that I think a lot of insurance companies don't think of the way that maybe younger folks are sharing their homes. So like, we actually had a property that we were living in, but also Airbnb. And so we were home sharing it. And so we had short-term folks staying there, but we were also living in the home too. And you would not believe how many insurance providers I talked to who would not cover a home like that. And they're like, no, it's got to be A or B. It can't be both. I love Steadily's coverage in terms of thinking through like modern scenarios. And I also have a property in Savannah that's actually, it's not a true duplex, but it's a home with a mother-in-law suite. Again, like a bit of a unique situation. And I just find the reason I really like Steadily is they've made my life easy when it comes to trying to figure out how to insure some of those unique situations, instead of the answer being like, no, we can't do that, or like asking a million questions to come back with a no. If you're trying to get into real estate at the beginning, there's such a learning curve and there's so many little boxes to check and so many things to keep track of and do, that my recommendation would be to use Steadily, because they honestly made my life so much easier when it comes to getting insurance quotes, and really handled a lot of the nitty-gritty details for me that I found a lot of insurance providers, they would throw back to me. Like, they wanted me to fill out the questionnaires, they wanted a lot more information from me, and they get it. Like, my Steadily rep just gets it in terms of like, hey, I want to Airbnb this property, I want to home share this property, this is how I'm planning on using it. It's actually going to be a furnished midterm rental. No matter matter the strategy you pursue as a real estate investor, I find that this team at Steadily is like, oh yeah, we've been there, we've done that. Here's a quote for your particular situation.